else has posted at least this season. In fact, the last to do it, James Harden in the bubble. And we'll get to it because I would also be pretty sure about the ice machine being hopping tonight as well. It's Pelicans Live presented by Toyota, and what a slugfest that was. In fact, as I welcome in David Wesley from the Smoothie King Center, not to pull back the curtain too much, my friend, but you asked me earlier tonight how I felt about our second half hot take that the Pels would make the play-in tournament. I have my answer. If they play the way they did tonight, yes, I stand firmly behind that hot take.
You cannot be a front runner. And I realize this is not true. What I'm about to say is not true. But I wish that because you beat good teams means that you are a good team. And I wish that gave you confidence to think you can beat anybody. It just doesn't seem to work that way because this team has beat a ton of good teams. And then all of a sudden they get these sub-500s and they don't seem to play at that level. What they did tonight against this Philadelphia team, outstanding. The first half was a mixed bag of good and bad, and they came out 50-50. Then they go in the second half, and the defense turns up, the offense starts moving, and most of that second half, you have Zion with the basketball wheeling and dealing. And an exceptional way to play the game. Everybody stood up defensively. Everybody got stops. Everybody played together, and it's just so much fun to watch when this team plays well.
That's the thing. I think for the first time this season, in a Stan Van Gundy postgame press conference, we won't be hearing about how terrible they were defensively because they finally showed what he had been wanting to implement all year tonight. What exactly did it take to flip this switch?
Well, Stan is still going to say that this wasn't defensively great. There were some breakdowns, but when they needed the defense, when that second half started, their defense stepped up, their energy stepped up, and they got great production out of the bench. I mean, you're looking at Jackson Hayes, Kyra Lewis. They came in and they did Billy Hernan Gomez. Those guys played some big minutes for this team tonight, and I think they were the difference. I mean, the energy and the defense that they brought, the deflections, they were scrappy, and they did whatever they needed, and they got this win. Man, this is great for this team. I hope they can build from this.
Defense is great, but offense is even better, especially when the 20-year-old franchise player having yet to NBA slate David Wesley post numbers like 37, 15, and 8. The only player this season to post that sort of stat line, James Harden, the last to do it in the bubble. I mean, unbelievable.
It really is, and he did everything. He did everything. His court vision was outstanding. I'm so sad he didn't get 2 more assists. His rebounding, he seemed to go get them all. 15 rebounds, that's huge. I've always said he is a double-double guy. I don't mean his 12th double-double or his 13th double-double of the season. I mean almost every night he's getting a double-double. That's the way I see him in the future. He did it all tonight for this team and carried this team all the way to victory, and that's all he cares about. Well, keep doing that. I think you'll get more of them. Yeah, again, flirting with what would be his first career triple-double. I will say this. Watching tonight, him and Embiid in the paint, it was a thing of beauty, might I add. First time all year, I think he got bumped around a bit, or at least felt what he typically delivers, as I think he met perhaps his physical match in this league. Well, and I don't think it was necessarily Embiid. I thought it was Ben Simmons who moved him off the spot, which you don't see a whole lot of. But he's a big guy, and certainly you can be on your heels, get hit, and fall back. But that's not going to happen a lot. He's a physical presence, and so is Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid is a phenomenal player. He had his face-up game, wasn't working tonight. I thought I didn't even talk about Adams. What a job he did tonight on Joel Embiid. I mean, you have to help, you have to crowd, but for the most part, he was doing the job of getting him off the block and making everything tough. Even with 2 early fouls, he still stayed in there and got the work done.
Yeah, you mentioned Steven Adams. I mean, he and Zion together racking up those points. We talked about the paint being the matchup tonight, seeing that Philly was one of the leaders in such category this season. Well, Pels destroyed them in that category. 66-34 was the points in the paint battle.
Well, here's what's so exceptional about that is how lone defensively they are, how good they are, individual perimeter guarders. Well, it took Zion completely just destroying that. It also took a lot of offensive rebounds. They had 9 in the first half. They were crashing the boards, getting extra opportunities, and they really beat the Sixers up on the inside, just being relentless on the glass and attacking the paint.
Unbelievable. I mean, yeah, beating the Sixers at their own game. And listen, we celebrated the return of Brandon Ingram tonight after missing the last 5 games with that stubborn right big toe irritation. We all hated David Wesley. You wondered how he would come back. In his first action since end of March, struggled a bit in the first half, definitely came back in the second. But what I remembered while watching him, I actually listened to you, D-Dub. You mentioned that he makes everything easier for everyone else, and I saw that at the very least in the first half.
Oh, absolutely. He's going to demand attention. I don't care if he's one-legged, two-legged. He's going to demand attention, and he did. And that made driving angles, backdoor cuts. It made other things for other players a little bit easier. And, of course, you had Zion and B.I. on the floor at the same time. It's difficult. But I've had the turf toe. It's not easy to come back from. It's not easy to get that right. It takes a while. And even when you think it's right, you're going to bump it. You're going to stub it. When you go into your pull-up, your feet, your toes jam into the front of your shoes. Those things are painful. And guaranteed, he's in the ice bucket right now because that toe is still not right, and it's going to take a while to get fully back.
Well, like I said, that ice machine is going to be hopping tonight, if not already, as you mentioned. I mean, this was perhaps the most physical game we have seen all season. And I'm not just talking the Zion and Embiid matchup that everyone had circled. I mean, you had Brandon Simmons, as you mentioned, getting in on the action. James Johnson getting in on it. I mean, this was a slugfest.
I thought we were going to see James Johnson's first round. I thought we were going to see his first round as a Pelican.
I wanted the gloves. I wanted the UFC gloves on. I wanted the octagon in the middle of the court. I mean, listen, that's one guy that I would not. I mean, look, Pelicans really boast 2-3 guys that you would not want to meet in a back alley. James Johnson is certainly one of those guys. So it was great to see the Pelicans out-duel them physically and, of course, mentally, defensively tonight. 101-94 is the final from the Smoothie King Center, as with the snapping of the 2-game skid this week, they also snap a 4-game slide to the Sixers in that series. Stan Van Gundy is at the mic now.
You know, I say this all the time. It was had nothing to do with game plan or scheme or any of that. It was just, you know, everybody who played extremely hard, extremely focused, and really, really fought. And that's a huge part of it. I mean, they were